Welcome to another episode of Easy Sports. And today I'm joined by the homies. We've got Peter, we got Sihle, and we got Onke. Bafet, what's happening?
London is blue.
Ah, guys, come on.
can, can we be honest, gents, and we are spoiled for choice when it comes to sport activities this past couple of weekends. It's like
Yeah.
everywhere you look, there's something happening. So I think we're very fortunate. London is blue. There was no. I wouldn't say there's no question, but yeah, there were a few questions, but I think we've answered those questions.
So can I just start off? Yeah, we'll start off with London. And we'll start off with Orkan. Onke, do you think your team is back?
No,
Okay.
no.
Just checking. Just checking.
I think my team has to answer one question, and it's the question that has been plaguing us throughout the season. I think when it comes to playing the big teams, my team hasn't dropped a bad performance in any of those games. From the first game of the season to the game last night, we haven't had a bad performance in a big game. So it's clear that Poch can game plan for the top coaches and the teams that have, attacking patterns and all of that. We are very solid against them, got a great attacking presence. We are very confident playing those teams. Where we struggle is against teams that actually don't attack us, teams that are pragmatic, teams that play a low block. And that is often when we've played our worst games. So I think last week, I'm happy we got 4 points from the games that we played last week. As you know, this stretch of games was always the most stressful. The ones going into December, we've got Newcastle next, and I think we've got, I don't count Manchester United. We've got Brighton, I think. No, I think Aston Villa. I'm not sure. But because I was
Brighton,
worried so much
Man
about
U,
these
and then
two
Everton.
fixtures. It's Everton, eh? So the Everton game, because I was looking, I was like, the Everton game is the one that worries me the most because I know Newcastle is not going to sit back. They're going to try to hit us with their speed, and all of that. Even though they do play pragmatic, but against bigger teams, they try to, create combinations and become dynamic. So we're going to get playing space. And when we've got playing space, we are difficult to play against. You saw this against City. You saw it against Spurs. You saw this against Liverpool at the beginning of the season. You saw it against Arsenal. And you can argue we should have won all of those games. You can easily argue that. I mean, Cole Palmer at 3-3 gets the chance where he dribbles past a few City players, gets tripped in the box, stays on his feet, then tries to place it. Edison makes a great save. Gusto 3-3 up. He gets a 1v1. He uses his left instead of his right foot and skies the ball. Basically, just looking at Edison, skies the ball. Those are the clearest chances. City didn't get any chances like that in the second half, and they scored from a deflection. So that's the type of game that it was.
They did. There's a save for Sanchez. I feel you guys don't give Sanchez his props. There's a
What do you
save
mean?
Sanchez made where no, hold on, Onke. There's a cross that came in from the left. Haaland traps the ball, cuts infield, and he takes away Rolls
Silva.
Royce. Yeah, takes away Silva. He smashes it, and Sanchez makes a brilliant save.
I agree. That was in the first half. I was saying that in the second half, when it was 3-3, City didn't create like the clear-cut chances. The one chance they had, it was a 1v1. I don't remember who, but they kicked the ball through Disasi's feet, and then Sanchez had to save the ball with his knee or something like that. But they were not creating clear chances at the end of the game, and we were. So we could have easily won that game outside of the penalty, because even the penalty itself was us creating, another clear chance in their box. So we were very creative in that period, even. So we could have won that game, which is why I'm saying that to me it doesn't answer the question that I have. We played great against Arsenal. The very next game we lost. The exact next game, we lost. To a team that plays pragmatic, to a team that gave us a low block in Brentford, and they killed us with their low block. I'm not going to count the second goal from Burmo, but the that game is what I worry about when it comes to our season. How well can we play when a team gives us a block of 6, and we are not finding those simple channels to play through, because that's when we are very, very
My
troubled as a squad.
my view on Chelsea is I think the last 4 games that we've watched, because there's been a lot of attention in those 4 games. Arsenal, Spurs, City now, and I can't remember the other game, but like there's been
Brentford.
4 games that Brentford, yeah. Defense wise, we're solid. We getting there. Okay, middle, it's I like it. Supporting the striker, it's also there. The problem is the finishing. Sure, fine. Now we're finishing those the chances that we're creating. Because now we've got what, seven goals in 2 games.
No, it's actually
Or is it
8. Yeah.
Eight, yeah. Yeah, it's eight goals in 8 games. Oh, sorry, in 2 games.
2 games.
I feel Jackson is not the answer. Jackson is at where he is in his career right now. He's a substitute striker, meaning he comes in second half. We are needing a striker who doesn't need much. Like if you go history, you look at Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba can create chances himself. You look at Costa. Costa could easily create chances himself. I don't see that in Jackson, unfortunately. The chap is still young. I'm not saying chuck him out and whatnot. No, he's still learning the trade, and I think he's coming at the worst point that he can come in, where it's a transitional phase for Chelsea. The amount of money that Chelsea has spent, the new manager that the Chelsea has, the new ownership that Chelsea has, that in itself is pressure that the kid doesn't really need. So what I see happening is in Jan, Chelsea's going to go out for a striker.
Yeah, look,
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I look at Jackson, right, one is his age, and I mean, if you look at his career, right, before he came to Chelsea, he was at Villarreal, if I stand corrected, and I mean, was only there for like 2 years or so, and before then he was playing in Senegal. And if you check before 3 years ago, he was playing as a winger. So if you check his whole development as a footballer, has been as a winger, and even the style of play, he's not necessarily an out and out striker. He's someone who wants to beat a player. He likes that burst of pace that he can take advantage with, and obviously his dribbles. So I think, as Hitler said, like I think as a backup striker for now, I think he plays well, but I do still feel that he's a good investment long term to keep him. Now, whether we go invest in some high profile striker, personally, I am still traumatized by Abo, Lukaku, and etc. And I think the history of Chelsea with strikers, and especially blowing money, I think at this point, let's give Nkuku the privileged release, get back his position, or at least some starter position in the squad. And I get it, a lot of fans probably want us to fight for top 4 as soon as possible. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Most likely in the later stage of the season, I would love to probably put a proper depiction of where we're going to end. But at this point, I think I want to see a fully fit squad, especially with someone like Nkuku, who's a more senior players compared to some of our juniors. So I think based on that, I think that will probably morph out the direction of the squad for me.
Yeah, can you guys hear that
I
sound?
agree with you.
I
The
can
cracking
hear
sound in the background.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
Let's check if it's me. Hold on.
I'm
Can
fine.
you still hear it? I'm
I
fine
think
now.
it's Onke.
Okay.
Oh, Onke. Onke, it's you, Chief. It's you.
Guys, I'm muted.
There it
It
is.
can't be me. I'm muted.
Yeah,
Now it's back. Now it's back.
Now it's gone.
Gone.
Ah,
It's you, dog. Go,
Don't you have
Sihle.
headphones?
So yeah, but now what you're saying on getting burned with the number 9, I think there is a curse, like a number 9 curse. Chelsea hasn't had a proper number 9. Morata came in, he was underwhelming. Torres came through with a big reputation. He was underwhelming. So I could understand the hesitation around it. On top 4, I don't want to say, Uti, we are a top 4 side, but I'm loving the style of play, and the style of play that we have. It has me hoping for a top 4 finish. And
Yeah.
I'm last season we finished 12th. I'm not going to argue, Guti, we're back in this. No, we're not. We are building something that looks solid. A
Yeah.
lot
No,
of teams, actually, let me not say a lot of teams. There's a couple of teams that are pulling 3-pointers that no one is understanding how those 3-pointers are coming about. With
Not a couple.
Chelsea,
Not a couple. Not a couple.
Ay, man, I didn't want to go there. Please don't go there,
You
Chris
went there.
Brown.
You went there. No one took you there.
No. I didn't. I said
Okay.
with Chelsea right now, I think we had this conversation a couple of seasons back where we said, as fans, at some point, you want to see a style of play more than you want to see the points, like a form of identity to your club, where you've got an idea with, okay, this is what's going on, and right now, Pochettino, he is looking the real deal in embedding his style of play. And I think he's on a war path, because the stint PSG league, it probably messed up his reputation across this thing. I don't know how to switch it off. The stint at PSG, it probably messed up his reputation, because we've always known him as that manager that comes in, that builds, that invests in the youth, that trusts the youth and whatnot. And now we have Mtatum Gaya, PSG is, they've got their own inner politics, where you've got Messi, you've got Mbappe, you've got Neymar. The one doesn't get along with the other, and so it became more about man management. But the beauty of having young players is you don't have those egos, because these young players are coming in with, they want to prove themselves. And I think at Chelsea, where we are right now, it's a good mixture of young players and seasoned players that have a thing or two to prove. Sterling being one. Southgate is a piece of crap for not selecting Sterling right now, because Sterling has been performing.
Yeah, but
I don't know about that one.
yeah, but let's also be honest about who Southgate is. Southgate is the guy that selects Calvin Phillips, who doesn't play, selects Maguire, who doesn't play, who wasn't playing.
Maguire's been
He's
playing
playing
now.
now. He's playing
But
now,
still.
but he wasn't playing. So his selection priorities have nothing to do with form. They've got nothing to do with how well you're playing. Sterling has been
Yeah.
playing.
No, I hear you.
know.
I hear you. I hear
So
you.
so he has no credibility as a coach.
Yeah.
So I don't care much about Southgate. It's fine. If Sterling is not going on those England trips, that's okay for me. That means Sterling stays fit. And
Yeah.
if Sterling is fit, that's good for the team. I'm now scared because now Palmer got his call up was
Call
upgraded
up.
from under 21 to the first team, and this is based on last. That means he just watched yesterday's match and was like,
Yeah.
I need to have this boy, basically,
100%.
because the call ups were done last week. He didn't call
Yeah.
up Palmer last week, even though he's on form. He watched this game, was like, nah, this boy has ice in his veins. I'm calling him up. That's nonsense. That's not a real coach. That means he's not even consuming English football that much. He only
Yeah.
watches the big games, where they can get a camera view of him sometimes watching from the stands. So yeah, that's that. But I agree with you. I've been saying this. I care more about how we play than the results that we're getting. Even though some of the results that we get are endemic to how we are playing and some of the problems in the style that we play. Our style is very expensive. It works better when we have space. because we have runners. So Sterling, what he was doing to Kyle Walker yesterday, what Cole was doing to Cole and Reese were doing to Vardiol on that side yesterday. We need players that can run in space. We need players that can beat people one-on-one, all of that. When you're playing against these smaller teams, they mob your wings. So Sterling has to dribble past two people. Palmer has to beat two people all the time because the winger is also defending. The fullback is also defending. And the midfielder is also in support. So against those teams, we need to find better ways, ball movement, those quick 1-2s. We need to be better in those phases of the game. And I think once we can get there, we will be much more complete. And I honestly think we can make top 4 this season. I'm looking at the up and down form of Newcastle, the up and down form of Aston Villa, not even the top 4. We only need to make the top 5. Because 5th makes the Champions League. So who cares about being number 4 when number 5 makes it to the Champions League as well? So if we can make 5th, if we have to contend with Man United, Aston Villa, I won't count Brighton. I think De Zerbi is going to have a very down season this season. As the season continues, he's going to continue to struggle, especially with European.
I think it's Europe. It's Europe that's messing De Zerbi up.
Same thing with Newcastle, dog. Same thing with Newcastle.
Newcastle is going to. They are feeling it as well.
And I remember we spoke about this beginning of the season when we were making our predictions. That Europe, this traveling, okay, sure, fine. Now they don't do Russia trips, but this traveling Europe either Wednesday or Thursday, that really messes up, and your squad needs to be. Actually, let me speak on Newcastle. Yeah, when in Newcastle, they right now they're in a position where they didn't have to be in. But what happened is they've got the money. They acted fake humble, where they could have invested in the squad. And in them not investing in the squad, look at the amount of injuries that they've got right now. The richest club in the world. You mean to tell me, Uguti, they're struggling with what? Okay, 10 injuries. Now it's everything is going pear-shaped. They could have, beginning of the season, the manager could have said, guys, listen, we've got Europe now. Europe requires you to have a squad of note. And you know what? They're like, nah, let's be cheap. Let's not spend this money. Look where they are right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
They said he didn't. They said he wasn't going to, and he did them wrong. And I don't know if you guys saw the video of the captain, Trippier, going to the fans, where he's asking them how many injuries. You don't use injuries as an excuse. You're not Arsenal. Arsenal has passed that stage of using injuries. I remember Arsenal, I think, 4 or 5 seasons back, they used to suffer with injuries, and everyone used to say, nah, maybe let's look at how they train and because unfortunately, as you said, injuries are part of the game. You lose your first 10 players. You've got the money. Why didn't you preempt this?
You also don't lose your name and expectations once injuries come. Chelsea started the season with 10 injuries. We are still Chelsea, bruh. The players that come on the field are still Chelsea players. Yep. So it doesn't matter who's injured. We haven't had.
They acted fake humble. Good. No, we're not gonna splurge out. Now look where they are right now. There's frustration.
Gonna do it the right
way. There's no right way. If you've got the funds, unfortunately, you use them.
Dude. And as well, I mean, they've already got a foundation in Newcastle. We can clearly see what they're trying to do. So they were just meant to spend. And manje, this thing of them, I mean, can you imagine, United are ahead of Newcastle. I was shocked when I looked at the log. Moguti, -3 goal difference, dog. We are ahead of this team. It's crazy.
And the other thing is, so they're gonna get knocked out of Champions League, and then they're gonna end up in the lower. That's the other thing. If they end up in Europa, now look at Brighton. If Brighton is a decent team, but because of squad depth, and Europe, it honestly it requires your squad to be proper.
Yeah, no, indeed, dog, indeed. We just have a comment here by Kagiso more than anything, I'm happy with the fortified mentality the Chelsea team back then because won, and that's game set match. Yeah, it's true. Like Vel, I mean, I did say, as much as I'm a hater, I don't like your team, but to be fair, when you look at the grand scheme of things, Chelsea are in a better situation than my club is. You guys have a squad.
I'm glad
I
you
did
said it before we did.
I did say this. Okay, in the when you've
No,
been banking.
he
You've
has
been
said it.
banking. Yeah, I've said it a lot
He's
of
been
times.
saying it.
Yeah, grand scheme of things. Me, eventually, I'm gonna catch a 8 or 9-0. I'm sure when I go to Anfield, I'm gonna catch that, and it's gonna bring a lot of my fan base back to earth. But from a Chelsea standpoint, I wouldn't be worried as a Chelsea fan, fam. Like things are coming together. It's like I need to, more Peggy Papa boy. You guys are at that thing. This is just like, well,
Okay.
which analogy can we use, dog?
Okay, but like I disagree in terms of the fact that I see a vision in sense of what Poch is doing, but at the same time, Onke mentioned a good point around the fact that fine, when it comes to the big games, Poch has a proper setup. But when it comes to these small guys, especially maybe it's the trauma of watching Graham Potter, Lampard coaching our teams. Because you'd have so I understand now that when you're seeing a different sense of play, it feels such a relief. But for me, the aspect around playing these small teams, I mean, if you just look at the teams around us, your Fulhams, your Brentfords, those are the teams that make us sweat for points. Like, and it's actually a concern for me. But at the same time, I'm like, look, let us build a momentum. Fine, at least we got a draw from Man City. And to be honest with you, I don't think any Chelsea fan thought yesterday we're gonna get that W like with ease.
Yeah. So I got up in the morning. Sorry, I got up in the morning. I sent a text to the group. I said, okay, I'm gonna be available today. This is before the game because I was at peace with the L. I could see an embarrassing at the bridge. I could see like an 6-2 score.
But can I talk about Man City? Can I just talk about Man City? When I look at Man City, and especially not just this past game, I think there's elements whereby, and maybe it's just me, but I don't understand why they sold Mahrez. And I understand Doku and Foden are quality young players, but there's an element of that one-touch player who can receive a ball from a wide cross, who can have that quick pace cross to Haaland, boom. Especially when you don't have a KDB in your squad. And I think that element is kind of dry. And for me, Guardiola, I don't think he's.
Nah, I think Guardiola. Let's be honest. There's no genius that is not crazy, and I think he understands football at a different wavelength than us mere mortals. Udoku is brilliant. Foden, I don't know what's going on with Foden. Foden is not the same Foden. He's not hungry enough. I don't know whether it's the fame that's going to his head, but I think Foden, something needs to change. Mahrez, I think a lot of people asked, why are you selling him?
Superstar.
But anyway, we went and said, this is Pep. You don't question Pep.
Yeah. I don't know, guys, if you guys want us to come back to SA because we've been discussing your match with City for 23 minutes straight.
It's while you discuss local.
No. Why are you leaving us, dog? Why are you leaving?
Sala.
No, dog, it is what it is. Yeah. And
so
your team
I think
Chiefs are like Man United. Yeah. That's why we support Man United. Man United and Chiefs. He only chats about rugby and cricket now. He doesn't chat about.
Mudise is suffering.
He's suffering.
So I watched the game. First and foremost, what a spectacle we put up. Beautiful. The scenes from 94,000 people filling up the FNB. That was beautiful, gents.
I thought you're talking about the game.
What the fuck,
fuck the game.
Yeah, I want to ask the question. Like, do you guys, okay, I asked this in the group, but do you guys think the Soweto Derby buzz, do you guys feel like it's dying out? Of course,
Nah.
yes,
It is.
fans are showing are
Nah.
coming
It
to the
is.
stadium.
It's dying
But
out.
Aye,
not watching as
angvumi.
much.
So
A lot of people
so
aren't watching the Soweto derby as much.
It's
But
dying
back
out.
then,
nah,
they used to
nah,
stand
nah.
still.
So this is so
Guys would be
on
watching in the now.
game
Now
day.
things are
Game day. I had to drive to. I had to drop off my thing at daughter at Midrand, Scotland in the morning, and so I'm driving north, and I'm looking at the amount of taxis that are coming south side. This is like at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm at taxi with the flags that like this is the branch,
Yeah.
this is that,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
that. Dude, the amount of they're coming from Limpopo side. They're coming from. So you can't tell me Guti doesn't have a pool where
No,
it
but you
still
see, those
packs
are fan clubs.
94. No, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Thank you. Okay. Hey, Azia. You can go.
Those are
Share.
fan clubs.
94
Those people
94,000
subscribe. Yeah, but
94,000 people. That's the same.
yes, that's
That's the same
fine.
amount of people we had for the World Cup final.
They can fill up a stadium. That's never been an
Yeah.
issue for a Soweto
Yeah.
derby. But Soweto derby, dog, you never needed to be in the stadium to know it's playing. Number
Thank
one.
you.
You never needed to see Amateksi, our branch that were hired to go to the stadium to see what it's playing. People in their cars would have flags. People in outside their houses would have flags. I was driving through Soweto Saturday. Nothing. Nothing. You
Yo.
see the random car here and there with the flag and whatever. The vibe is gone. Even when Pirates scored, Bengsemiro dog. Tulile. You had the Vuvuzela Nyana here and there.
Yeah.
I grew up in the time where Makora either team, we used to run out into the street, dog. Yoshai Vuvuzela outside my friend's house or Ipagania. If Kukoreyena, he used to come Pandle Gate Sekaya. That's how we lived, and that was the culture. That culture died. It died
Yo.
a long time ago.
Blame,
Yes, we can
blame
still
load
fill-
shedding. Yeah, blame load shedding.
we
Blame
can
it.
still
Blame
fill
it
up the
on.
stadium. We can still fill up the stadium
Blame it
because
also
the fan
on.
bases.
Yeah.
The fan
You can
bases are
go.
big. That is the biggest game in the PSL season, so it is going to fill up the stadium. And then the rivalry is storied. Obviously, there's going to be interest from the purest fan of that, but the casual fan used to be so passionate about the fixture. Ngisho abomama bethu, I'm talking about our sisters, who are the truest of casual fans, who watch no other PSL games apart from the derby. It was an event. It was big, dog. Bekune-itokfela set up around i-derby itself. Ukuthi we must make sure ukuthi i-derby mayenzeka. Isitokfela sisenza on that day, so that we drink, we get on each other, we do all of that. It's not the same anymore.
But I think
Yeah.
maybe not the derby itself, but I think PSL in terms of as an organization has not helped
As a
South
product.
African football
As a
sustain
product.
as a product. Like
Yeah.
if you look at the buzz of rugby now, I mean, if someone was to watch the next just Springbok match, even if it's not a World Cup, there's some form of buzz that's nationally there. With something as a derby, you'd almost even a primary school, you'd see kids having a hype about a derby. We're not talking a cup competition, just a random derby. And I think the PSL has not helped navigate in just the brand of local disc. I think that they've lost touch, and maybe even so to extend it to the fact that some of our owners, hey, I have an agenda, but let me not go there. But I know.
Yeah,
There's been a lack of
because X was about to say, "Good, tima."
Hey, stop up, fella. Stop up, look at us. Keep doing shots, man. Dude.
And my man is wearing his PPC cement jersey. So fuck. Tima.
Whoa.
Nah, but honestly,
But
honestly, PSL Safa, they've taken us for a ride, and I think there's a lot of contributing factors to what you guys are saying, but people still want to watch the game. People still are invested in skill. People still want to make fun of each other. Bafuna ukugibela phezu kwendlu bamemeza ukuthi hey Chiefs ishayiwe. They still want to do that, but
let me
Chiefs.
let me just use
itself
one
hasn't
random
hasn't
example.
Yeah, go for it.
Use it.
You know, in grade 11, I remember watching a Bloemfontein Celtic game versus Pirates, and just looking at the energy in J, not even just in Bloemfontein, national in J, that buzz of that fan base, the team, and what it represented. And then you have a team like Pirates, and I could go through the whole lineup in J. I could know it by head. I could tell you so much about the club at that time. Versus who, when you speak about Pirates, even Celtic, which doesn't exist now. If you were to ask someone on the random street in J, tell me what you think about Pirates, Konamanj, the guy doesn't know jack. And I think it's a case of brand in J. I mean, like, when you kill a team like Celtic, you have teams in J, TX Galaxy. I'm not saying they're bad, but they don't have that brand that pushes a national drive for football. I think you lose that touch of, the flair that local football had.
Konje, what I'm a PRO. Konje, whatever happened to them?
They are still there. The problem here is they were no longer as good as Abo Alex Chakwani and Abo.
Hey, Abo Chakwan. But Konje, who's the other one that used to be a TV presenter? I forgot his name now. He had a Upatko, yeah, he had a sex tape. Oh no, it wasn't him. It was his wife.
So random, bro. So random.
No, because this association where you're like, okay, who's this? Like you don't get people like that, that hype up a crowd. A crowd gets it picks up the stadium an hour before the game kicks off. They make the stadium vibrate.
Teams don't do road shows anymore.
Goes, it's a spectacle. It's a show.
Teams don't do road shows anymore. Our
Abasai Mamol.
Yes, our football players are celebrities. Our football players are drunkards. It's Jaiva Nabo. The exclusivity of the football fraternity doesn't exist anymore. So we don't see them.
Upule.
We don't see them as role models anymore. There was a time when Uchabupule no Stiga Bashaya ama hairstyle.
Yeah.
December wonke. Remember my thoughts?
Yeah. Amasheleni.
What do December wonke dog? Because footballers were part of our lifestyle as a football loving nation.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Twitter say we are not a football loving nation. They a video why that the fans and stuff. I was like, no, we are a football loving nation. Look at the support we give to the Premier League in South Africa, one of the biggest markets for the Premier League in the world. So that tells you we're a big football loving nation. EPSL, when they went to ABSA, when they got ABSA money, they forgot about the fan. The fan was forgotten. Once ABSA Premiership was launched from the Castle Premier League, once the ABSA Premiership was launched, we were totally forgotten as fans. The fan experience was not prioritized. They started to buy a lot of foreign players, and it did not serve the purpose they expected it to serve. SuperSport started to own the Premier League out of nowhere. Gavin Hunt had
It wasn't out of nowhere. I can tell you, but X is gonna mute me, but it's fine. Like,
this guy.
No, like we
went from file there. I know. His eyes were lighting up.
We went from having Irotman's Cup. And when Irotman's Cup, you be kwatisa wonke umuntu. Like it was the cup. It was hey Baba.
But
honestly, EPSL they fumbled.
You can still say Rothmans was well replaced by Coca-Cola Cup. Coca-Cola Cup was still great. We had BP Top 8, which was great. I forget before Kuba in
once but Telkom
Iwisa was the top 8.
It
was top 8.
It was Iwisa top 8 before it became BP top 8. And then we had the Telkom Charity Spectacular. I think that was a fan occasion. But they dropped EPS earlier. PT Telkom, let Telkom come do the top 8 for us.
But
Mine
Tumelana ma
is
SMS.
Agusana riding charity special. Black Label sees an opportunity, says, let's do a derby for the Black Label Cup. That means you are excluding two teams from a competition. When, if you remember, during Itelcom Charity Cup, Bloemfontein Celtic would outvote Mamelodi Sundowns, would outvote Orlando Pirates. It would be at the top with Kaizer Chiefs.
First game is at 10 o'clock. So Niaz Guti from 10 o'clock. Zisha ngediski. Thank you.
Like
Exactly.
you are having the time of your life because it's game after game after game.
And then the final according of 5.
And it's just to kick off the season. I got all in the season. So what is the energy of the fan base by the time the season starts? You take that away from the fans, and then you replace a Black Label Cup.
Send them SMS to change players. Fuck out of here.
And as well, remember the Vodacom challenge as well, guys, where we used to invite Manchester City.
Man City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Our Mabizela were discovered through the Vodacom challenge.
Dude. Yo.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So PSL Safa, they fumbled the bag, yeah. They went for Absa money at today, tomorrow together, but now we're not together. Like, yeah, boy, we complain all the time. Like, I'm even getting tired of complaining about this Safa and the PSL. I'm done complaining about them.
I always
but
say
I think
the best period of the PSL was between 2002 till 2010. I think that period, the PSL, from 2002, I'm talking from the times about Dennis Lota, Nabo Leslie, yes, Chisampa, Leslie Manyatela. I'm bringing you closer to Abo Cheese Boy, Abo
Tabu time,
Abo Chabupule, Abo Stiga, and then I'm bringing you closer to Abo Collins Besuma, Abo Lelombele. Like
Silent
our
Assassin.
Football was amazing.
I was standing in dog. Remember,
my
Yes.
man.
Gifts.
Our football was amazing. Our football was amazing.
Who gift before he went to Sundowns?
Yes, bro.
Yes.
And the list is endless, dog. Even in the Cosmos,
I was telling my friend, Mina, the best generation is Sundowns. Each generation never got Risapula, Nabo Surprise Muriri. Itiadora.
At Roger Futumba. Hey, Baba.
That's early Sundowns. That's Abo
Hi man, Sundowns at the time when they sponsored by Ellerins.
Ben is exposing his age though.
No, that's the Ellerins Sundowns. I'm talking about the Diadora Sundowns. Mutipe Safi.
Abo Sakatiene,
Abo Konje, who's that lady? Who's that lady?
Abo Torre.
Who's that lady? Ooh, yes.
Which one?
Anyway, let me keep quiet about the PSL before.
Mina was stuck on Pirates in jail. Fully Kwati, Lucas Twala, Happy J. Benson.
Petma Jens.
About cheese boy, Makanya, no, Bani, no, Lebang Mukwe.
Mabe.
Tugu.
I also the days Doc PSL used to bang.
Chinene, oh my gosh.
Of the players today, I don't know them.
Dog.
Exactly.
Ubona ngegame day mesikhishwa starting 11 ukuthi yaqala le njalo.
But I think it raises a critical point that I think even beyond PSL, money talks in sports, unfortunately. And I think PSL, the way it's run, because I mean, you look at even the EPL, for you to be a sustainably big club, you need to have sponsorships. You need to have money invested from your owners. And I think currently looking at some of the ownerships in the league, let's not go into that aspect, but even just PSL and J, the sponsorship is just struggling.
Abo Sukazi.
Like,
So yeah, So you
Yeah.
say money is needed. I also
Yeah, look
feel
at
that
rugby.
money can spoil. Yeah, money can also spoil a good thing.
Eh,
I think I think
I
CJ,
think too much money went into football, and the fan got forgotten.
so CJ,
These
I did this
guys,
thing. I watched the goals, the goal of the month, um, for every month in 2005 2006 season, ne? And then I compared this with last season, and I realized the type of footballer, what today, the richer footballer, they don't possess some of the technical skill the older
100%.
footballers have. The
That,
skill of, in fact, let me just say ball striking especially. We
dude.
don't see a lot of these goals from outside of like the Paul Scholes,
Dude.
the Gerrard, strikes,
Yo,
the Frank
that
Lampard
was
strikes.
Lampard. Don't forget Lampard, bro.
There
Lampard
was
used
the
to also
month in
score.
2006 where equal of
Yeah.
the month, all of the goals came from outside of the box. Apart from there was one Man United goal that was from a build-up, Rooney
Yeah.
and Cristiano basically showing their pace. But shiny 1-2 from their box all the way to Uyosha Pagat. And
mm,
I was like, we today, if we see a goal like that, it's the goal of the season. It has to be a Puskas goal. I'm thinking to myself, these were normal when we were growing up.
yeah.
This was
Nah, but
normal
I think
stuff.
the game itself internationally has moved to this tiki taka we play and whatnot, and no one wants to take a
System.
chance in
Everyone
and
wants to
shoot.
be Pep.
Like
Yeah.
very very true. I mean, you go back to the World Cup, Brazil versus France.
Yeah.
Unige konje, who's that? Carlos ibhola, and then everyone is looking at it as like, nah, this guy is not going to take this shot, and he takes the shot, and Benitez is standing there. The ball does this and then goes in, and that
Yeah.
was normal. That was, oh, this is what we do. But now buka nama-wingers are these days. Ama-wingers of these days awafuni ukuthatha players on, and
Yeah.
they possess the speed, but bafuna ukudlala. And before, you knew ukuthi Ronaldinho will
Yeah.
And beat you.
adlule.
And beat you.
I,
And
I
another
loved
thing is,
I loved this
can
about Sterling yesterday. Sterling played like a
yeah.
throwback winger yesterday. This
Yebo,
thing Foden was doing was he wasn't trying to
the
beat
cutting in.
Cucurella. He was trying to get space to go to his left so he could curl the ball. He got one shot and it was a near miss, I think, in the first half that it went
Yeah.
over the post. It was a near miss in the first half. That's what the wingers want. Abu Saka, they don't try to beat players. They are trying
Yeah.
to get to their left foot so they can curl the ball. That's why they don't
Curl.
create. Abu Rashford, they
Dude.
don't create Ama wingers
Yeah.
today because they are
Look
all
at
Hmm?
looking to do the same thing. They're trying to be
yo.
Messi. They're trying to get
Yeah.
to their left foot. Abu Anthony, they're trying to get to their
Ah.
left foot so they can shoot or hit a curler.
Yeah.
The throwback winger is trying to get to the byline. They're trying to beat you
Dude.
to
I
the
cross.
byline so
Like
that they can
Yeah.
cross the ball. Sterling
like
was
guys,
doing
look
that
at
to Walker, and that's what
yeah.
works. That
Yeah,
works.
dude. I think the art of one-on-one dribbling as well has died out. Remember Robinho? Robinho had pace, mad pace, but you hardly saw that guy use it because it was flair, bruh. First touch, gone. Bar line, like you say, Onke. And the dog,
but
this
also
Yeah.
guy, if you watch
Let,
highlights, if you watch
let, let,
Robinho's highlight, he's destroyed so many like elite players, like
Yes.
Pirlo. Like he's Ufawu Pirlo is fighting. It's like this guy used to like just do it at ease, dog. And I just feel like
but
flair is dying out, bro. These players,
I
they
do I
being
did
yeah,
yeah I
yeah,
do
you
need
go.
to make a counter argument. Not to say that flair is not gone, but I do
Mm,
think in terms of the physical aspect of football has changed a lot. Like especially when you look
yeah.
at just the physique and the physical requirements for a footballer now. I mean, you look at the kind of the
I'm
weight.
athletes now. Yeah.
Like a Ronaldinho would
Before
not
you,
survive fitness wise. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like
I'm an athlete
fitness
now. If you
wise,
go back, Udunga
yeah,
But
was
go
I,
on.
never an athlete.
yeah,
Udunga was
I
never an
want to
athlete,
argue.
but he was. Hmm?
I want to
And
argue
also
against that.
and let me add
There's
let me make
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
God.
Continue.
Yeah, so like for example, when you look at even I remember there's actually a YouTube video about this. The way football balls were made pre South African World Cup. And that has shifted a lot in terms of how a
Yes, I
footballer
agree
kicks a
there.
ball. Because that has changed a lot in J. Those volleys that you saw back then are not going to happen.
Jabulani
That's a
does
different.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
ball
the
had
thing.
more weight.
That
The
play,
ball had
dog,
more
you know how
weight.
heavy that ball is, dog.
Yeah,
No,
My
no,
the ball
the
had more
heaviest,
weight.
my man, the heaviest,
Dog. Oh,
the heaviest ball that has ever existed is from the 80s, Imekasa.
yo,
Yeah.
that leg was hard,
That
bro.
thing was painful. Yo, that thing was painful. If first touch a Mikasa, dog. If you can master first touch with a Mikasa, you will never struggle with first touch, ever.
Yeah,
The other thing is even soccer boots have become super light because the
yeah,
Yeah.
football is also light. So it feels like you're not wearing a boot. You're basically playing with your bare foot. You know, that's the idea today. You know, you need to run. I think back then we had better athletes than today. Today
yeah,
they are better technically in terms of utilizing space and stuff like that. But Ronaldinho was a super fit. That guy's thighs, that guy's calves, that guy's running pace. I mean,
yeah,
Ronaldinho used to run midfield as a winger.
yeah,
You could drop into midfield, run in midfield with Xavi as a winger. They used to interchange with Iniesta a lot, where Iniesta would go to the left and Ronaldinho would drop into the 10. Ronaldinho would start to create for everyone else. He was a full attacking, gift of a footballer. I think at times we score them low because we think their game was flair driven. Look at Ronaldinho tape. You'll realize he's faster than everyone else that is running against. He's better than anyone else at playing football. And he sees things before anyone else can see them. He got slower as he got older, but it was because of ankle
Yeah.
injuries,
Have you seen?
muscle
Have you seen?
injuries,
Have
and
you
stuff
seen his
like that.
son? Have you seen his
Yeah,
son?
yeah, very skillful as well.
Yeah.
The
But
players, the
Mina would argue that. Yeah. Go ahead.
players
Yeah.
back then, I think the football was slower, not the players themselves. I think the football was slow because of it was very functional. We used to play the long ball. It was very direct, but as well it required a lot of speed because once you get the ball, you have a very short space of time before a defense actually recovers and then uses their numbers to defend and then clear the ball. Because back then we didn't play from the back. The ball was played directly into midfield or even further. So the football was much more different. Today, a player like Enzo Fernandez, who's not very fast, can control a game of football. A player like Jorginho, who's not very fast, who's not very physical, can control a midfield. That wouldn't happen back in the day because you have to play a Steven Gerrard, you have to play a Paul Scholes in that midfield, you have to play a Sergio Busquets in that midfield, a player who's physically bigger than you, and a player who's much more skillful than you are. You have to play a Claudio Makelele in that midfield. You have to play a Vieira in that midfield. You have to play Emmanuel Petit in that
Invisible
midfield.
wall.
You have to play serious men in that midfield. Today, the players are smaller, the players are skinnier, even the strikers are skinnier. Zlatan Ibrahimovic to today's striker is like a machine. Even Lukaku looks like
Yeah.
he's out of place as a striker because our strikers are skinny, they are much more athletic. Back then, strikers were menacing. Haaland wouldn't look like he's a monstrosity because we would have a Luka Toni, because
Yeah.
we would have a Ruud van Nistelrooy.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
good
hear what you're saying,
matchup.
Onke.
That's a
But-
good matchup.
but-
Tony versus Haaland. That would be interesting.
Okay,
that would
but
be very
let's-
interesting.
But I hear what you're saying, Onke, in terms of quality. But like,
Yeah.
as much as I hear you about saying Ronaldinho, but I feel like those are like goats. But if I was to take the average EPL player or the average La Liga player back then and now, like a Fulham back then is not going to compete with the quantity of players that are talented now compared to the quantity back then. Like back then, you had to be exceptionally good. Now you have to be extraordinary good.
No.
I mean,
I'll name
name an extraordinary Fulham player.
No. I'm saying in terms of quantity, because
No,
you
just name one.
being able to dribble, nje, khona manje, is like Pereira, for example.
What is
So
Pereira
I beg
special?
to differ.
No. Hear me out. I'm saying in terms of quantity, you are competing with players almost on the same level. Whereas if you're the Ronaldinho competing with a guy that you can't even quote and you remember his name, that you're saying he dribbled past.
I disagree.
No.
I really
dog.
disagree.
I think
The
the
depth of quality was much more back then.
nigga, can I name one player? I'll name one player. Riquelme from Argentina.
Oh
Not
my
a lot
God.
of people talk about that guy, but he was
Juan
elite.
Roman.
Another one is Guti, who used to play for Madrid. Guti was a baller, bro. But not a lot of people know about Guti, dog. They don't know about these guys. There were so many.
I represent my youngins, bruh. I'm a 2000 are good, man. I'm a 2000.
Another one, even with the striking department, about Patrick Kluivert. People don't really talk about Kluivert that much.
Bro.
Bang, bro.
Peter Crouch was gonna score now. Peter Crouch was getting 20 goals back then.
Roy Mackay for Bayern, bro. On FIFA 04, bro, Roy Mackay's average was 92, dog. But not a lot of people know who Roy Mackay is, dude. Because he used to bang goals, dog. Nedved, for instance, for Juve. Nedved even has a Ballon d'Or, bruh. But not a lot of people knew about him. I feel like quality back then was gang. Each and every team, dog. Each and every top team. Not even top team, dog. Even
Villarreal.
dog, like Hasselbank. Remember Hasselbank? You remember who Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, bro? He used to play for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he also played for Villa. And dude, he was quality. And then even with Valencia, Pablo Aimar, who Messi idolized. Aimar, not a lot of people talk about Aimar, but Aimar, like
a lot of people get caught up in Gabriel. They speak about Gabriel Arsenal, and they forget there was once a Gabriel with Argentina.
But he's too you see what I'm
Donkey.
I swear, dog. Players up today.
The problem,
Peter, the Euro squad and compared to the 2006 squad that won the World Cup, none of the niggas who won the Euro make it into that 06 squad.
Yes, they don't.
I agree there.
Yeah, dog.
But on a day-to-day football, icon.
Peter,
because I think now.
I took time to watch Southampton versus the Sunderland, bruh, and I look at such a game now. There's a serious draft in terms of how football was played back then.
No,
and the quality of players.
Peter, what you're referring to is coaching, not player quality.
Maybe
coaching has gone up a level. In fact, few more levels than it was back then.
But that translates to the players, though.
The players were limited by the level of coaching that was available to them. But now also teams where the coaching was better, those players played better. So when for example, when who's this guy, man, who played for Fulham, who came from Chelsea, the ginger, I forget his name. When he played for Fulham,
no.
Good Johnson.
No, not Good Johnson. He was a midfielder. Steve Sidwell.
Steve Sidwell, yes.
When Steve Sidwell was playing for Chelsea, he was a quality player. When he moved to Fulham, it didn't look like he was the same Steve Sidwell, because the circumstances of the team that you're on determine how well you play. I'll make another example. When we buy players, that come from different systems and they come into our team, Chelsea is a high pressure environment. Some of those players, I'm talking today, their quality doesn't translate from the team they come from to where we are.
Okay, can I ask you one simple question?
Yeah.
If you were a 16-year-old footballer and you want to play in the EPL, between now and 2005, 2006, when would be an easier time for you to have made it all the way to a club like Chelsea or Man United?
Today. Chelsea uses its academy. Today, Chelsea uses the academy. 2016, 2006, Chelsea only, between 2006 until 2014, Chelsea only had one graduate from its
Okay,
academy.
yeah, but I don't mean like
Terry.
Chelsea. I'm just saying like a big team, any big team.
Yes,
Let's take
team.
Man U.
Any
Yeah,
big team.
and you're proving my point.
No,
No,
don't involve
I'm
Man U
not.
in big teams.
I'm not, because look at the players that are graduating from La
No, we're
Masia.
ahead of you, nigga.
Look at the players that are graduating from La Masia today, versus the players that were graduating from La Masia in 2005, 2006, 2007, the Messi graduation class, and so on. Those players were far more ready for professional football than the ones that are graduating today, that are having to be
But
loaned
also,
around the world.
gents, we have to also think about the modern footballer peaks at probably like what 2-3 years younger compared to the time Yabo Crespo, Yabo Didier Drogba and whatnot. So that in itself, like now you've got who's that Barcelona player, that kid. I think he's like I think he's
Gavi or
still in
Pedri
grade
or
7. Yeah,
Yamal.
Uyamal.
Yeah.
I think he's in grade 7 or something.
Yassine,
That
He's in
Yeah.
grade 7.
but it's not, clubs are more invested in the young talent. Back then, young talent was just considered good. You have to go to under 17, under 21, under 23. Only then you can break into the squad. So it's different dynamics now.
I think Sitle, and back then you had to be special to break through as a young player. You had to be like a Michael Owen. You had to be like a Thierry Henry. You had to be exceptional because the standard was higher back then. Very high.
Now the standard is low. If you are just
low.
good, if you are just
No,
good,
I disagree there.
You know why?
Not just
you know
good.
why the standard is low?
Do
Do you know why the standard is
if
low?
you're just
It's
Mason
because
Mount,
Man United,
you can make
Man
it.
United recruitment. Hold on. Man United recruitment goes onto YouTube. They look at clips of a player and they say, "Yeah, that's the one. This is generational talent." Meanwhile, it's just out of 10 games, they've clipped out a minute's worth of play, and they say, he's brilliant. That's why.
That's why another
It's very
thing is,
easy,
guys.
Today,
Yeah,
it's easy.
It's very easy. That's why back in the day, dog, like remember, Zlatan was also a young star. And Zlatan was even benching at Juve because the Conor David Trezeguet and Del Piero.
Yes.
He couldn't even make it into the starting lineup because it was those two motherfuckers were a problem, dog. So for me, dog, I swear, but even dude, Kaka used to struggle at AC Milan.
I said,
so
you're on your own. You're on your own with your 2Ks.
Hear me out. So hear me out. I hear you guys. Look, one of my uncles, right, he used to be an academy coach lab. He used to live close to Liverpool, that side. And one thing I asked him last year now was like, what happened in terms of academies, in terms of production? Because he used to be involved heavily. And one thing he told me is that, look, in terms of quantity and also the investment in football is quite different. For you to have been a player playing for a Liverpool or a Real Madrid, Barcelona back in the day, you were the shit. Like, you were not just some guy. You came from the gutter. You made it to, you are the shit. Now you can have a guy who went to a decent school, and he kicked the ball, but he competed against 200 other kids. And because he had the investment of a good academy, boom, now he's playing for a Chelsea or a Man United. The dynamics are different, especially with the technical side of football. And that's his input. Maybe I'm biased in that aspect of how he portrayed it to me.
Do you remember what he said about money can ruin a good thing? And that's exactly what money has done.
The investment in football,
and I agree that part.
Down football. It watered it down. There's no way Mason Mount is a Manchester United.
Hey, when I Messi,
and he's wearing number 7
of Man United. Going.
You're making it seem like Man United is a big team right now.
No, but
they used to be. Ujo sang about them. He said another used to be.
I'm making an example, and this is why these youth players that are being produced today, they peak in their early 20s or their teens, and then they never actually go any further than that. Especially
by that logic, then there's
your Mason Mount. I'm hoping Calato actually lasts. But look at your Federico Makeda, for example.
Yeah.
Your Oberton. A lot of these players that were pushed by academies, that went into first teams and had all the opportunities you could ask for, that Brazilian talents were not able to get, that Spanish talents were not able to get. They needed to go into the gutter to get those opportunities. They are the ones that fail first. There's a reason for that. They were never good enough.
Dude, it's like Atu Fati, guys. Like Atu was coming up nicely, dog. I mean, isn't he like
Yeah,
20?
but he got injured. No, but he got
but
injured.
still,
The kid got injured.
But yeah, he got injured, but still, dog, he's not gonna get to the peaks that we all thought he would potentially get to, dog. I mean, I'm with Uncle. Uncle, whatever you are saying, King, dog, I'm with you. That kind of football
Okay,
has
please
dropped, dog.
remind him that Man United is no longer a big club.
Yeah,
He knows
it's fine,
that.
man.
No, he agrees.
Look, honestly, I don't see a big team. If you're to compare even Chelsea, there's no Chelsea starting player right now that goes back and competes with the Chelsea 07, 06. There's just no player I can see starting over. There's none. You can go to Arsenal. Maybe you can maybe take the two Onyana. I can go across almost any team. Your majority players are not cutting it.
They're not. Even
They're not.
Arsenal used to have about Robert Perez. Dog, Saka is nowhere near the levels of Robert Perez, dog. Perez, the guy Pantu, who was a solid player, dog. He had Bergkamp. Dude, you see what I'm saying? Dog, standards have dropped significantly, dog. It's only Man City that can say that,
I agree. They dropped, but for a reason.
They won the lotto. Yeah. They had Thierry Henry as a striker. They won the lotto of talent. They won the lotto, Lapo. Yes, sir.
But do you know when Henry came through Arsenal, he came in as a winger. He wasn't a striker.
Yeah, he was a winger.
Yeah, he was.
And then they converted him. But gents, I think over time everything gets diluted. Like now, plastic these days is lesser plastic than the plastic of yesteryear. Coke, now, like Coke before you used to drink it. No, Coke before you used to drink it and you used to burp.
I agree with Coke.
Now.
Okay, but X, which sport do you say is better?
I'd say basketball has gotten better, dog, through time.
I don't think so.
I know.
From a skill set standpoint, from a scoring standpoint,
I really disagree.
Why do you disagree?
So what has happened with basketball is because perimeter play has been prioritized, the only skill that matters is shooting. So the only skill that has improved in basketball is shooting. What are the skills that have been removed in basketball? Post play is no longer there. The only post player that exists today is Nikola Jokic, and that is a great post player. How many other post? Name a post player.
DeMar DeRozan is a.
DeMar DeRozan is a mid-range player. He's not a post player.
But he does play. But he does. Okay, fine. Another one.
Same as Kevin Durant. He's a mid-range player. I'm talking post play. Back to the basket play.
Yeah, back to the basket. Sorry.
Back to the basket.
Who else I can think of? Okay, there you make a valid point, though, because I can't.
I'm staying in my lane in this conversation.
Exactly. You and I both.
Yeah.
And because there's no post play, there are no post defenders. That's why no one can defend Jokic.
Yeah. Okay, fine. There you make a valid point. You have come to think of it, Yazin. Okay. There you make a very, very, very solid point.
Look what has happened. The big men in the game that don't have any post play are forced to play on the perimeter or just play on the pick and roll to just take lobs. So a Rudy Gobert, for example, has no offensive skill. None whatsoever. That would never happen in basketball back in the day. As a big, he needed to have a post game so that they could play balls into him, and then he could draw fouls. He could put people in foul trouble. He could create from the interior, all of those things. Without post play, we struggle. The game is limited. The only skill these guys have is to create perimeter shots. That's it.
Now, but another one is also, I think even Doncic has also got a very good post game, dog.
Yeah, Doncic is a cheat code. Yeah, but those are like
Doncic
the 1% of the league. Good... Because if I were to say Steph Curry is the standard for shooting, that wouldn't be fair. Because he's a unicorn. So Doncic is a unicorn because his game is all round. He can post, he can drive, He can hit a
Yeah.
mid-range. He can hit a step-back three. He can do anything you want an offensive player to do. How many
Yeah.
players are as skilled as Doncic in the league?
Only a few, dog. Only
Exactly.
like a
So you can't
hand.
say it is
Yeah.
more skilled
Yeah.
today. It isn't. It really isn't.
Okay. You see from the post one, this one, bro, I need to write down my notes, dog. And we have to have a debate on this one, dog. We have to have a debate on
That's
this one.
fine.
Dog. Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, you make a valid point. You see that one year post game, now I can't fight you, dog. Because I'm thinking of all the games I've watched in recent times, and yeah, it's Jokic pair that umuntu enjoy game. But yeah, sorry, Peter and Sihle, and I think we.
What I'm getting from this conversation is
Yeah.
let's go back to starving. I'm a football player, nyana. Back to
I agree.
no,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
No more bad bitches, nyana.
Yeah,
just go back and start it. Yeah.
Make them hungry, nyana. Don't play the
Nah,
young. Don't play the
it's
young
difficult to make them hungry. The bad bitches are always gonna follow them. I don't know if you guys are following. Actually, yeah, let me keep quiet. I see valid.
Yo, but
One.
guys,
Whoa. So
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
I realized after the Sundowns game that this chick that has been trending, Usindi Mahlangu, is a girlfriend yaga Lend. Yaga Benten.
I got Zoom.
Yeah. I'm like, really?
Yo.
Yeah, she's got a bright future behind her. I don't know if you've seen her.
I saw that future, dog.
But football
but
players, Jets, football
Dude.
players are disappointing.
How so?
Your game is for the streets.
Well, I don't know who's.
Hey, Nya Papa, yo.
I didn't say
All
that.
money.
So why?
And you select a
Wait,
woman from the
X.
streets.
Why you say? Yeah, why you saying? I didn't say anything.
I'm just saying, don't join it. You and Mudise. Hey, Mudise once said some other crazy thing, dog. For 5 minutes, I'm like, yo, but I had to pause it, dog. As I was trying to find it. Relax, chief. But I get
I'm
what
not
you mean.
inside disappoint, right?
Yeah.
Nah. How about disappoint? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that basketball player whose wife came out to she's got an OnlyFans account.
She was
It's the same
porn
thing.
star.
She was a porn
Yeah,
star.
it's the same thing with the Lamachi. They meet them in the street and Baba try to convert, and unfortunately, hip hop has always told you that you can't convert what doesn't want to be converted. I'm not gonna say the
Zion,
words,
dog.
but yes.
Zion Williamson is having a baby by a stripper.
Yeah.
Because he porn star. Nah.
Yeah.
Okay, but guys, also look at these old guys. I remember what's this guy's name? I can't remember his name. He's a basketball player. I mean, the stories that used to come on my documentary, and this guy's been having these
It's only
OGs and stuff like
Dennis.
that. Like these guys are also wilding, but this guy's also wilding back in the day, man.
But you can see Dennis Rodman is a freak. You can see
Yeah.
him. Everything about Dennis Rodman.
Any man who
freaky.
That's why I'm a franchise. That's why I'm a franchise. We're thinking twice about signing him.
Yeah,
know.
the Bulls are
Yes.
very, very, very brave.
Yeah. I know, they were, gents. I don't know. It's just that this card, dog. I wanted us to touch a bit on Sundowns, maybe 5 minutes.
No, it doesn't matter.
Congratulations.
Doesn't matter. Too much money.
Patrice has given. Thank you, Patrice. Well done. Has given Sundowns another advantage on. Konjo, we said how much was the prize money? It was $4 million US dollars.
It's 75 million rands plus minus, depending on the current exchange rate. But fam, I think it's also, hey man, it makes the league, the gap between us and Sundown further opens, dog. Because I mean, Sundowns hasn't played a PSL.
Kevin Hunt went and said something which I think was brilliant. He said, Sundowns every season can go and buy a player for 15 million. 15 million is the prize money of the PSL league.
Yes.
And they can go use that whole prize money to buy a new player.
Dude.
That's when I was like, yeah, the haves and the have-nots. Yeah.
You can't compete.
I think
dog.
the Chiefs need to bring back Cobra as a sponsor. because I think they got rid of them. Bazam Gufru but like Yafan.
Yeah, Dr.
Sundowns is gone.
Why do you think I celebrate these small trophies, dog, on the side? Because I know that's the level my team is at. I can't compete for the league anymore. It's impossible. Because every season we're gonna buy the best
Are you still
player.
in the Carabao Cup?
No, I'm talking
Nah.
about PSL.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. Anyways,
Shots fired.
Le miqondo yeCarabao Cup siyayibona.
the energy drink, daughter.
Carabao tendencies.
Yeah. But it is what it is, gents. It is what it is. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add in closing. Yeah.
I think, as I said, when is the semi-final against Australia cricket?
It's on Thursday, dog. On Thursday. We can have an episode after that when we win the game. I'm saying we're gonna win this tournament, guys. I'm telling you now.
Don't live in Delulu land. Don't live in Delulu land. It doesn't suit you.
That's what they said about the Rugby World Cup when I called it before the tournament began.
Let me leave you alone. I think we can close it, gents.
I know. Thank you so much for availing yourselves, guys. Much appreciated. I know this is quality content. Yeah.
Happy people. Happy people.
Our hands now sway. Even though Sundowns, as much as we can do this, dog, the league is gone, dog.
Extra sevens, bro. Yo.
Yeah, because their strategy now is simple. Win the league, qualify for this tournament, and if you qualify, you get 1.3 million US dollars, which is way more than the league prize money already.
Itself.
You see, so for me, man, it's gonna take a lot.
Well played, Patrice.
Yeah, we might need CKN to be our keeper with Pirates and I must say. Or you Andre or Nana, dog.
Hey, I had a we won this past weekend playing indoor football. Hey, but I had a horror game, like a terrible game. I wasn't feeling the best, but yeah. So whoever sees it, I know we won. Final score 7-6.
Yo, and how many of those goals did you score, dog? How many did you was it
4.
your fault?
Oh.
Four were directly my fault. No, I own it. Like 4 were directly my fault. I'm much done, not happy. So if they're watching this, hard chance.
Yes, okay.
They're letting about Pooza.
But anyway, gents, much appreciated there. Guys, please like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Easy Sport, and we out.
Kosi.
It's too bad.